Good night, good night, good night. Welcome once again, people. Welcome to the Sports Frenzzyy podcast. And from you see me, you know it is. It's Levon. I'm here tonight to do what we promised from last week. We said that we're going to dedicate tonight as a call-in show for you guys to call in and vote for your favorite analyst. And that's what we'll actually do tonight. As you can see on the screen, the number for you to call is 876-919-5816. And you can call us straight or you can call us via WhatsApp. We're joined by Robbie. Welcome, Robbie. All gone.
All right.
Bless. So I was just telling the peeps, man, that tonight, as we said from what I believe it was Friday, that tonight is dedicated to them, the viewers, that they should call in and vote for their favorite analyst. And I know that you, for one, Robbie, it's
But
probably
now win.
the people that need to vote for you, huh?
No, but now vote for me.
Come on,
Because
come
I'm a
on,
very
Shanila. Shanila, you need to call in and actually place your vote, man, on your favorite analyst. So, again, the number, you can call us straight at 919-5816, or you can call us via WhatsApp at the same number. So, I'm waiting for you guys to start calling. But while I wait on those calls to start coming, Robbie, we're just going to discuss a little bit about sports. And you know that between yesterday and earlier on today, there was a big news in regards to Jamaican football.
yeah.
One Shamar Nicholson signed for Spartak Moscow over there in Russia, and they said it's what he signed until 2026,
Wow,
right?
wow, wow.
Yeah, I believe that is what they said. But this is what I want to ask you, Rabbi. Would you say that it's premature and he could have waited a little bit longer to make a move, or you think that it was the right move to make at this point in time? What do
All
you
right.
think about the move?
All right. If we come to Russian history, this team, I was pretty agree on the history. And I think it's the right time now. But only thing I will quick go against that Russia is very racist. I'm of mentally strong to survive some of them fans and so forth. It's the right time, man. How long you think him I was still in a Belgium? Probably in value my job, or probably you have one of the best seasons. Go to a team that improve players and so forth. You understand? Yeah. So I think it's the right move, honestly. Only thing I want him to do improve on him finishing. Because
Mhm.
if you look on him shots on target, plus the shots him take, it's really poor. But him goals and it's good. But under good this team I got knowing for evolved players, so you will get better.
And then, if you look at it, what better way to sign off than scoring an hat-trick in a
Yeah,
final game for your
yeah,
club? And he also got an assist in that game, so
yeah.
good way to sign up for him. And Robbie, what do you think this does for Jamaica football overall? Knowing that here's a youth who we know that he
All right.
started from Boystone and from Boystone to Domzal over there in I believe
I
it's
was
Slovenia,
I
either Slovenia
yeah.
or Serbia, one of the two. I don't quite remember.
Solvina starts from. All right.
And then went over to Belgium,
Yeah,
did what he had to do with Sherlock. Sherlock finished like what third last season and qualified for Europa League. They
yeah,
haven't hit the heights this season, but what do you
yeah.
think this does for Jamaica players overall?
It gave them up high. It showed them that no matter where you go in Europe, there's still opportunity to go to another level and improve your talent. But I really watch where going to Europe. It does that way. Because when him going to Europe, that's in Slovenia, a lot of people were saying that, what kind of boost league this? What kind of this? Better go USA and better this. No. Once in Europe, a lot of eyes are going to watch you. They're more likely watching Europe than anywhere else. All right. So what this do, I give confidence to other persons them that just get into you and getting the right score to watch you and the right agent after you with it too. Because some of them now are agent. The agent is a joke agent. And me agent at work. Yeah. So it what me does, man. It what me does. People are gonna say Jamaican actually have talent. Yeah. And what this do too, it may open the doors for Karim Paris also.
Do you think so that Paris will probably go to a different club?
Yeah, man, if him continue in farm just like when Nicholson did at Solvina and can move to a better league than the league where him there. Nah, here, you know. You understand? So yeah, man, it what me do is them for them, man. I'm confident about it. The only person that I really sorry for can get him chance internationally and him do it well, and that's Norman Campbell. He play for Jamaica and I've seen that we are actually improve or not. You understand? So basically he need to step on like the rest of them and so forth. And this also can give confidence to like man like Junior Fleming's a baller that I do rate. In gone to French league, all him have to do is that prove me wrong. You
Mhm.
understand?
All right, so we have our first caller in line. It's Albert. Go ahead, boss man. Good night.
Good night, good night. So I apparently I'm the first caller, so I'm going to cast my vote, and that goes to Kems.
All right.
What?
So Albert,
I'm going up
what you like about Kims?
Kems. I think Kems when I started listening to Sports Frenzzyy, Kems was a little bit. He was very emotional, but
Facts.
he's very solid at his analysis. And so, as I had gotten to know him more and listen to him more, I realized that he knows what he's talking about. So, yeah, Kevin get my vote
Okay.
for Analyst of the Year. And shout out to Wally and Shakes.
Okay. All right. So I know that you're a man that loves track and field, and I'm also going to give the callers their moment to talk about their moment of the year now. What moment of this year you could say that stood out for you overall in sports in general, or if you want to say track and field because you're a track and field fan. So what say you?
I stick to my craft. uh, So yeah, definitely I would say at the Olympics, the 1, 2, 3 for Jamaica, I think that was monumental. And as well as Elaine getting her 3 gold medals at the Olympics, that was a big thing for Jamaica as well. I mean, not since Usain Bolt, Ewan, that we had 3 people getting 1, 2, 3. Apparently, this is the 3rd time we've had 3 people. Was one, so we have 1, 2, 3 with Bolt, Ewan, and I forget where. And then we had Shelly, Sharon,
And Kieran.
and Karen getting 1, 2, 2. So yeah, this is a big feat for Jamaica. So I think that was one of my moments. And of course, when Elaine ran that 10.5, that was big too. So yep, those are my moments, I must say.
All right, thanks for the call, Albert. Big up yourself. I know that you're a avid fan of the show. Continue supporting Boss as we look forward to a better 2021. And if you're someone that actually celebrate Christmas, have a merry one when it comes.
I don't, but you guys have a wonderful holiday.
All right, boss. All right, so
Another thing what Anthony Nichols thing is that remember there was the one that topped the Leicester City group.
was Spartak Moscow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have progressed to the Europa League. So
So we can actually see Nicholson at a big stage with
yeah, that's true.
quality ball like Promise and all those players. So yeah.
Yeah, but here what's the thing with Promise though, as you're mentioning. Promise has failed to really deliver on his promise that he showed from earlier years, So
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. Him let me down.
big time.
Right.
But as I said, in regards to Paris, do you think that he has reached a stage that you could say it's probably bigger than the club that he's currently at? I mean, this is really his first season at well, not really say the first, but in terms of top flight football where he's playing in the first division, this is the
Yeah.
first real season for him.
One more season.
Okay, that is what I was going to get, that I
One
think
more
that he
season.
should just wait a little bit more before he actually think about moving on.
Because at the same agency them under, Norman Campbell, Jamar, one of my same agents. So one more season like this and I'm gone.
But that's another guy that I'm kind of concerned about. Initially, at the beginning, he got some starts, but since then, it seems like things has kind of watered down for him. I'm talking about Norman Campbell because he has hardly gotten any game time for the past about
I,
three,
I
4 months.
I think it happened from the time when he called for the substitute when the racist thing happened to him. And from that day happened, we not seen get no more game. Remember when they come off our field or call say we need to come off by the racist chant or whatever. From this on, he never really get much game.
Okay.
Yeah, from this on.
And before I move on to our topic, hold on, here it comes. As a giant boss, you're off the marks already. The first caller decided that he was going to vote for you said that initially when he just got to know you, you were emotional, but the more you got to sit and listen to you, you have solid points and you stick by whatever you believe in.
Ah, I say them a vote for. I say them a vote for the boss. Paper, me in a class, but I say me have to touch out, me have to show my face, cause he's a favorite guy out here. So me there for a little while. So what we are talking about?
What are the Kims? Sunday,
Yeah,
remember Sunday, no?
I remember Sunday, man. Me
The
there Sunday,
Margot run.
man. Me there Sunday, man. But now you mute. Oh.
Really?
Okay, Shanila, go ahead.
So you want to know what I'm voting for?
Definitely.
Alright, so I vote for Kim.
Wow.
And
All right, Shanila, why are you giving a vote to Kim's? Is it because of favoritism?
no, I think say you have some solid points.
Mm-hmm.
The show kind of interesting, so that's why we'll vote for it.
All right. In terms of sporting moments this year, as a fan of sports, which moment stood out for you?
The 400-meter hurdles record.
Okay.
Yeah, I war cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you
my
say you're a
favorite.
youth fan of Warhome.
Well, yeah, well, that's my kind of thing, but we're actually thinking about a go silver flat 4 based on the time we run over the 4 hurdles. But I think that was the most memorable moment for me.
Okay. Have anything else to say?
Oh, when Shakari come last, so.
All right, Shanila, thanks for the call and continue supporting Sports Frenzy because I know that you're one of the first person that is here every night. So continue supporting us. We look forward to having you from now on until whenever Sports Frenzy decide to call it a day.
Alright, no problem.
Thanks.
I said I'm
Why
a vote for the.
Kim's a
I'm a vote
jump out, man. A 2-0 lead already.
Them soon trap me down, man. But my dad, we get 2 little vote.
There's a two calls and it's Kim's way out front already, eh?
Well, 2 better than 0. So I
Definitely,
appreciate,
definitely.
I appreciate everybody, man. Cause you don't know it going on when we start to this, just the drive for sports and just the drive and
Definitely.
the love for sports and want to engage some people and. And as I keep on telling individuals, say for the new year we have bigger, better, greater things. So obviously we're always glad for the support, and that's why we're always here each and every night.
So, Kim, this is the topic that we were talking about. Shaman Nicholson signing for Spartak Moscow. Some people saying that it's a good move, while some are saying that it's kind of premature. With the knowledge in mind that teams like Mainz, Offenheim, and even I think Fulham was linked to him for a bit. Were interested in him. So, do you think that the right move for him at his age, because he's 24 now? So,
Yeah.
right move for him, or you think that he could have waited?
Um, so when I first hear about this move, I say, well, you know, it's an opportunity for the baller, get another look, in another system and another coach, and I believe that team they get a new general manager, a new manager, something like that. They get a new manager, so I guess you want to bring in his players. If you know anything about football
Yeah.
per se, if you know anything about football, remember, ballers will always be linked. You'll always be linked to this team, that team, that team, but not things don't necessarily will always materialize. So I am thinking that between Shamar and his agent, this is probably one of the only teams that really
Really
push
serious.
forward for getting. Other persons probably be like, again, may I forgive my relationship analogy. You see two girl, you like one, you like two of them, but you flirt with one a little bit, but the next one, you take her out on dates, you text her often, you call her all the time, you send her some money at Western Union, but the next one you just talk to her on WhatsApp. So I believe just like that, it's different the way they. So I think say Moscow, they went out and they were very aggressive, and I cannot see a downside of it because as a baller he was scoring a lot of goals, for his team, but now he goes into a different system. So we want to see how versatile the baller be. And anytime a Jamaican footballer, is getting looks and is moving from team to team and elevating their career, we just have to be proud of them and have to support them.
Yeah.
Facts. But as I said, I just hope for the best for him because he was having a stellar season. I believe he had what, like 13 goals and 5 assists so far this season for his club.
10.
Go
Yeah,
again?
18 games.
Go again?
In 18 games, almost 15 starts.
Yeah, so he has been doing well, and as I said, what better way to sign off than scoring a hat-trick in your final game? And let's hope for the best for this youngster. He has been doing these things, so yeah, all the best. But as per usual, here's Michelle saying that comes with the signature relationship analogy.
Yeah, man.
Michelle, we're waiting on your call. That's what you need to do. Don't come cuss out Kim's both relationship analogies.
Kim shall go vote for you. I love you, love Kim.
No, shall I vote for Demo, man?
I don't want to jinx it, but I already know who she's going to vote for because she said it last night on the podcast.
I probably I'm named the
Ruan.
yeah. Run a good youth, man.
But Robbie, you brought up a topic and right? You were the one that brought it to my attention. You were saying that we need to have a discussion about prime Kun Aguero and prime Luis Suarez. Which of them would you take for your team? And since as you're the one that brought up the topic, I'm just going to let you start and talk about it.
All right, but that's a prime Suarez. Why would I say prime Suarez? I always remember this though. I got to use the quality of team. Liverpool has never have more class than Man City. When Kun come over, he always have a class team. And Suarez never let him always perform to an elite level. So I have to put that in mind. You understand? When him get better quality at Liverpool, at Barcelona, he deliver the Champions League. And he even get a top goal scorer in La Liga. So I have to bear that in mind. Aguero Ananan, I believe is one of the best striker ever to play EPL. One of. So but I give Suarez the edge because indeed to the Liverpool team where that was not undelivered as Man City.
Alright, so Kim, you heard that Robbie just said. What say you about this?
This is my thing. I think say if Robbie raised a topic like this, we think Robbie would have come with some numbers, come with
No,
come with
watch out.
some this,
Here we
come
go.
with some that.
Here we go. It's only
Yeah.
a reason and do certain things, but try
Yeah.
if you elevate certain numbers away from the topic. There's
All
not
right.
two things to determine a striker about goal or assist. This is what enough media and things want brainwash people. We need to go towards where what they do to the start of play, what they do that influence the game and so forth. Goals and assists is not the only thing.
Yeah.
That's what the media put across. You understand? A man we make all 6-9 shot, and because him score a goal, him then claims him better than the next man will get 3 shot on target. This is what the media does. So
Alright, so here what?
Anything.
We have another caller online. Caller, good night. Go ahead. I believe this is Andre Chelsea. Go ahead, boss.
Yeah, man, greetings. Yeah, man, more the shakes my vote, because you don't know shakes are my favorite analysis,
Mm-hmm.
And I say, the rest of the man, them not good, but shakes are the done, that's it.
Understand the levels in a man. No man doesn't care feelings over this. Remember that is just a friendly voting thing, So just go ahead and cast your vote, man.
I'm going to go around corner and talk James Rumble bad.
You say what?
Man say Kim's Bramble bad.
And Josh Carl, I'm going to tell Josh all the time, Tim's supposed to be the worst style of compensation show.
I get what I say, bro. But in terms of sporting moments of the season for you, I know that you're a Chelsea fan, so I guess Chelsea lifting that Champions League was your highlight of the season.
Oh gosh, man, that was the best feeling.
All right, bro.
What name?
Was the best feeling, man.
Andre Chelsea.
So, well, big up on yourself. Kind of busy and now, so a long time I need to check in on the show, so
Yeah, man, we know levels
Big
fam.
up
So
on
big
yourself.
up and blessings for the vote again. And the producers, if you big up yourself too, fam.
Alright. Tell him, sir.
Pull the plug quick. The man was about to
And
say something else, but
Andre Chelsea, I think my Bramble yet. Just wait till you see me predict Chelsea for don't make Champions League. Yeah. Hey, so I know Ron gonna come in really quickly, but for me, um, I believe the strikers are two great strikers. But again, the way how I judge people, I look at it and I say, has Aguero done things that Suarez couldn't do or never did, and vice versa. That's how I look at it. I must say, and I've seen, for example, now I take a signature moment. You see that goal that Aguero score for sink United hopes. Brother, up to now, I still feel it. I still feel it in my
no
heart.
lie, bro.
Yeah, I still feel it in my heart. I'm not think Suarez could have do that. So, I think Aguero have more key moments. I think as a striker, I think Aguero is just better. I think Aguero have the touch for goal better. I
But
just think,
you know that I disagree, but let's let to finish your point still. But continue.
yeah, yeah, and I just think, well, let me say, in a Man City jersey, for sure. I don't want when him go Argentina, but in a Man City jersey, the man is exceptional, And if me have to choose between Aguero and Suarez, may I pick Aguero 10 times out of 10.
Okay.
All right. So before I let Ron go ahead, personally for me, one thing that Suarez has over Aguero that I'll take on any given day is his hold-up play. Suarez bring
Yes.
new players into the game than
Yes.
Aguero. But Ron, go ahead and have your say about this.
All right, good night to the fellas and good night to the viewers. The guys that has raged for years, which of the two South Americans would I take at their peak? I put it this way, guys. And you know that I'm not biased. Yeah, I support Arsenal, but I call a speed a speed. In terms of force of nature, I think Thierry Henry is unrivaled at his peak, but I think Suarez at his peak is the closest we saw to, because we know Ronaldo was brilliant for a season and a half, but that was to the back end of his first stint at United. But in terms of doing it like for season upon season, Henry and I dare say Suarez gave me that feeling. You spoke about his whole play level, and I think just his all-round game, he was able to score all type of goals. When you look at the catalog of goals that Suarez was able to churn out at Anfield, it's basically like blinding. And yes, he was not the most clinical. I think Kim's where I would
Mm-hmm.
probably give Aguero the edge is in terms of his ability to be clinical. Suarez missed a handful of chances, but at their peak, I think while Suarez was nigh on unplayable because his hold
Yeah.
up play, his pressing, he would get under because remember if you wanted to be physical, Suarez was not backing away, right?
Hold on there.
Suarez because
So Ron, hold on there, Ron. Come, I forgot run really quickly. But Ron, you see where Suarez lose points to me? You see that little biting thing
Oh,
there?
Jesus
you,
Christ.
but
you see
yes, but
you see
I
the
knew
little
you
you
were
see the
going to.
little you see the little animal thing there. We have to get her from that. So you have to lose some points for that.
I know you were going to go there, but we're talking about their skill sets, right? And the thing about that Aguero, remember, we knew he was always clinical, right? From Independiente when he broke up. Because I tell you what, in 2006 when Messi was the phenom, and I'm not sure if probably came in terms of age, and I'm not lambasting you guys because that's just when you were born, right? I know you're knowledgeable, guys, Levon and Robbie. But in 2006, when all the fanfare was about a diminutive Argentina and Lionel Messi, people in the know knew that Aguero probably wasn't at that level, but he was very, very, very good. And I tell you what, at 17, he was an outside shot to make that World Cup squad for Peckerman. But the thing is, Peckerman had so many choices because if you look at the persons we had available, he had Saviola, he had Tevez, he had Crespo. So he had a lot of, obviously alongside Messi. So he had a lot of options. So he didn't bring Kun Aguero. But we saw in 2007 what he did at the Under-20 World Cup. Atletico Madrid, Man City. You spoke of that particular moment when he put the dagger through all United fans' heart when he scored that last gasp winner against QPR in 2012. But I think at their peak, I think there were still doubts about Aguero in terms of his all-round play, and we even saw where many times he was vilified for being a tad selfish and not bringing others into play. Levon spoke about Suarez's ability in that respect. So I think all-round at their peak, I think I would have to give even though Aguero was arguably one of the most clinical we have seen across all the leagues in the last 30 years, and not just the English league. But I think, but you mentioned the fact that if you talk about what they did at international level, I think Aguero runs a distant second because he didn't necessarily convince at international level, and there was always this doubt as to whether he or Higuain was better suited to play alongside Messi. So there were always issues, and I don't think he stayed fit long enough, especially in Albiceleste colours, because there were always niggles that he had at the World Cup in 2014, the Copa Americas. You always figure that he was short of work. He wasn't able to last 90 minutes. So there are many things you could pick apart in terms of Kun's game, but take nothing away from him. It was a fabulous striker, but second and Suarez definitely El Pistolero all day, every day, and twice on Sundays for me.
I remember 2010 World Cup, the performance of Luis Suarez. That is one to add to catalog also. And another thing I want to add
the thing is, Robbie, quickly. The thing is, people in the Netherlands at Ajax, right? Came to England, yes, had teething problems, but you knew that he was brilliant, but he just couldn't find the back of the time regularly. But once he started to find between 2013 and 2016, I think for that period he was almost unplayable. And remember, he went to Spain, and yes, we might see Barcelona wanted him to get that golden boot over Ronaldo, but the fact is he was scoring goals. He was
All right, so Ron seemingly has a breaking transmission.
All right. Another thing I want to add to it. Remember, Suarez play with two different type of system also. Atletico player different from Barcelona and strive in two systems.
Mm-hmm.
And since Pep forward, Queen Aguero start bring other players into the game.
Yeah, that is why I gave Suarez the edge. That Suarez brought more players into the game than Kun Aguero did. That's why he's at the top for me. But Chanel is saying that's why Aguero can't get my vote because I carry feelings for that goal. Of course, as a United fan, you have to carry feelings for that goal. And here's Albert saying that Dimo is definitely the most dedicated Jamaican cricket supporter of all time. Whenever the West Indies playing, he wholeheartedly believe they will win. And with that in mind, he says that so he gets the Windies cricket analyst. I agree. You can give that one to Dimo. So Dimo, you're the West Indies cricket analyst of the year. For those who have just joined, tonight and tomorrow we are having you guys in the comment section, you the viewers, call in and tell us who has been your Sports Frenzzyy analyst of the year. And also list your favorite your favorite sporting moment of the year. And as you see on the screen, the number to call is 919-5816. You can call straight or you can call me on WhatsApp. And so far, Kims has 2 and Shakes has 1. So Kims is currently leading. But guys, hear what? We need more calls. So get the calls and come in. But Ron, pick up on the point that you were making.
Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, I think Suarez at his peak, he did it obviously at Ajax. There were always issues because we saw people like Kejman who had walked that particular league, not being able to replicate it. So there were skeptics. Robbie correctly alluded to Suarez's breaking out at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. That's when he really announced himself on such a stage because yes, Forlan was the man. Cavani, who was still at Palermo, did his thing. But you saw where Suarez and then Suarez was playing out wide as opposed to the central role that he would fill later on. We saw him at Liverpool. playing alongside Andy Carroll, then basically being the main man with Surge playing off him and Sterling to the other side. So he has played, as Robbie correctly alluded to, in a number of systems, and he has always thrived. Even what you would say, admittedly past his best at 30, 34, still riling defenders, still scoring goals, fired Atletico Madrid to the title. Yes, we know that Real Madrid and Barcelona were culpable because they had a lot of chances to bridge that gap. Because Atletico floundered down the stretch, guys. For a moment there, I thought that they did not want to win the league, but I think ultimately Suarez's 21 goals were the deciding factor. And I just think that at his best, you couldn't make a solid enough case for Aguero over Suarez.
All right,
Yeah.
so we have a caller online. Caller, go ahead.
Yo, go on, big up to the panelists and big up the sports Frenzzyy.
Big up, bro.
Yeah, well, my analyst of the year, even though I'm Bramble more while, Emmanuel, well, one believe alien house, but Uncle Barry.
Uncle Barry is running away with it so far, man. Why are you giving a vote to Uncle Barry?
Well, his analysis has been spot on most times, you know. Even though he works and goes up on the side from one day. Still, is it?
Yeah, man. And your sporting moment of the year?
I actually post it in the comment section what is run by Mr. War Machine, you know.
It's a war home run still kicking in your head.
Yeah, man. Still,
All right.
I mean, a days up to this point.
No, then where the fam. Big up to yourself, Brian. Continue supporting Sports Frenzy.
Uh,
Why people them come out for Kems tonight, man? Seems like Kems secretly linked them. Just kidding.
Hey, but War Homes and any War Homes definitely supposed to get that of the year still. I don't think nobody is going here.
All right. Another topic that was raised by said Rabbi, and I don't know why Rabbi came up with this. Rabbi asked a question: Thierry Henry or Karim Benzema? Which of the two would you say is better? And I think I saw. I don't quite remember who it was. If it was Ancelotti or one of those guys who said it today that Benzema is the best French striker ever. What do you guys say about that? Ron.
I'm a Las Blancos fan and I not agree with that.
Best French striker ever. I think that's a stretch because the thing is, Benzema, first time around, 2015 when he had that incident with Valbuena and he was ostracized by the French Football Federation. Didn't convince me at that time. Yes, we know it's not just goals, but at that time, if my memory serves me right, he had 27 goals in 81 appearances. That's basically 1 in 3. Yes, he didn't always lead the line, but there was a solid case at the time that other options like Andrea Pierre-Gignac, Olivier Giroud were better suited to lead. And I think that even factored into Didier Deschamps' reticence to recall him because he figured that Benzema wasn't the same striker that he was in French colours that he had been obviously for Leon when he broke out as a teenage starlet and more importantly for Real Madrid. But I think you would still have to mention people like Jean-Pierre Papin. So there are many names. Why really limiting just to Thierry Henry? If he had said probably of the last 30 years, but I could make a solid case for Jean-Pierre Papin because based on his goals per game ratio, it's right up there. His all-round play, he was a fabulous striker, Ballon d'Or winner. Yes, at the time, the Ballon d'Or was limited to Europeans, so it's not like how. But you see, the thing is, you have to judge people based on generations, right? And I think the game is played differently now as opposed to back then. It's played differently as opposed to when Henry was playing. So you can't just use raw numbers. And I think, as I mentioned, at his best was almost unplayable, and that's not being biased. I am probably the most vocal French supporter there is, so I follow the French team like to a T, and I just think that there are other names that you could throw into the hat, and I think that's doing a disservice to someone like Jean-Pierre Papin not for him to be mentioned. And because people are saying, oh, Benzema, yes, we now have social media guys, and we can't understate that because we are now able to get all the data on these players. And I don't think that should automatically mean that we're going to cast aside players of a previous vintage. And I think Henry at his ultimate, at his peak, was a sight to behold. He basically had no clear weakness to his game. He was able to do things that I don't think even Benzema, as brilliant as he is, was able to. Because remember, guys, one thing defenders are afraid of, pace. And when you add pace to technique, and Henry had that in abundance, and then Henry was physical because he was about 6 feet 2 inches, so he wasn't someone you could bully off the ball. I think Benzema's goals per game ratio has obviously improved, with him being the focal point. But I just think that Henry shades it for me. But Benzema has had a brilliant last part of his career in terms of putting the ball into the back of the net. And we have seen where he has assumed leadership. And since his recall to the French national team, I think he has silenced the naysayers. But I think he had blotted the copybook for me based on what he had done before 2015 in terms of all-round play and, more importantly, end product for Les Blues.
Okay. So I have a call online, and I believe it's Shem Jack. Shem Jack, go ahead.
Good evening. First analyst of the year, the controversial one, Sheikh. I'm voting for Sheikh. Controversial, yes, but most times it's analysts. The things that he says, they are correct and he's spot on. So I'm voting for Sheikh.
All right.
First moment of the year, anti-punishment, winning the 110 hurdle.
Yes, I never expected that one.
No, didn't see that one coming. I knew he had it in him, but to actually win it was tremendous.
I agree. Thanks for the call, and keep on supporting Sports Frenzzyy. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
All right.
Good program.
All right, thanks.
All right. With the Henry and Benzema thing, I have to kill with Henry, and he's more complete to me. Remember, as a Las Blancos fan, Benzema, one of Benzema's biggest problem was missing goals. Remember that? He might have scored a hard one and I missed easy one. And even though he was playing something like a false nine, but Henry playing that weak team like Arsenal that bleed through him, have to give Henry that. And he did deliver when he played for France. This man went to 2 World Cup finals, plus he also played. I think he played upon the when Zidane and they win Euro too. I said they go.
Yeah, he won the European Championships, but for the World Cup he didn't make it onto the field because Marcel Desailly took a red card in the World Cup final.
I actually remember that.
But he did score 3 goals in the tournament, so he was an important factor. And at that time he was just a wide player. But by 2000, when they won the Euro, he was the main man up front, obviously with David Trezeguet alongside him, and sometimes assisting from the bench. But yes, I think Robbie, I think people will say that Henry in big games probably didn't show up, and I say
what
that
big games
yes. Champions League final 2006, Mr. Cataloga chance against Barcelona. He came out and said that yes, he was at fault because even with 10 men, Arsenal gave Barcelona everything they could handle, because remember that Jens Lehmann, Levant's German keeper, had taken a red card early doors, and Manuel Almunia had to deputize, so they had to pull Robert Perez, and Arsenal on the counter attack were able to give Barcelona nightmares, and Henry missed some chances which I think he should have taken. There is the FA Cup final 2001, which is known as the Michael Owen FA Cup final, because Arsenal battered Liverpool, but somehow Liverpool managed to win later on due to Owen. I think that was a major factor in Owen winning the Ballon d'Or that year. So I think there have been games. I followed Henry from his days at Monaco, so but I think over a period of time, and I'm taking them at their best guys, right? I'm not just thinking out a particular move. At their best, I don't think Benzema could replicate the performance of Henry at his ultimate best. Yeah. But I think Henry's naysayers, and I've seen it, Levon has seen it as well, where, for instance, people pit him against a Drogba, and they say, oh, but Drogba scored a lot of goals in finals, where Henry didn't usually drew blanks. But when you look at his goals per game ratio, his all-round play, because remember, this is a man who over the course of one particular season had 29 goals and 20 assists. So you're talking about basically scoring a lot of goals and also creating for others. So he was not just a potent goal scorer, but he was also the quintessential all-round attacker.
All right,
Aye.
and you.
Producer,
Here's,
I can put up that. Well, where somebody put up, what Sheldon can put up.
hold on a second, man. Here's Michelle Lemon saying that Thierry Henry for me, but Benzema career is still going on, so I'll reassess at the end of his career. And here's Sheldon Campbell saying
Yes.
that when my son gets older, I'll show him videos of Henry. The man had everything.
I did want Henry over Van Nistelrooy, you know, but Perez chose something different.
All right, so we're going to shift our focus a bit. We now are going to look at our moments of the year so far because we still have quite a few days remaining. I know that other things can happen that will probably overthrow what has happened so far. So, Robbie, from January up until this day, the 21st of December, what has been your standout moments of the year so far? As a coach, I know that you really want to see your Westport side qualify for the National Premier League, but in terms of sporting highlights, what would you say are the top for you?
All right. As you can know, the 400 meters ergos Olympic final, Christian Warholm, that is the favorite moment. I think I can be biased because he's my favorite athlete running now, but
Karsten is a monster, boss.
Monster.
Karsten is just a freak of nature.
Yeah, so that is it to me. That's my moment of the year. Why would I give him athlete of the year? This man smashed his own record in 2. No, I'd never think I would live to see somebody run 45 seconds over 400 hurdles. Never. I wouldn't play a game with them thing there.
I kind of agree with you in a sense for the fact that this man constantly broke his record almost every race that he ran. So, yeah, I would have it up there. But in terms of moment of the year, I'm thinking about other things to try to trump it. I'm just trying to play a different advocate right here, right? I don't know why, but I'm just looking at it from a different angle. The female 400-meter hurdles, I can't leave that out as well.
Oh, that was good.
That wasn't any mean feat, right? Dalila in that race also tops. But then we come down have to look at what Elaine did. First, someone to actually win the Olympics back-to-back just like that in terms of the double. So you have to factor in things like those. And, man, it was just... There were a lot of great moments this year. That's how I have to put it. A lot of great moments, including Emma Raducanu winning a slam as... Oh, jeez, man. So much things to look for.
Italy winning Euro.
Not surprised. because Josh and I already did some pre-analysis leading up, and people said that the two of us were clowns.
Just did that.
Listen, man, the two of us did our analysis about the teams. I would say that Italy looked like the favorites from around the first round. People say, well, he there, I don't know nothing.
No, them did me that too. Them do me that too. That's why them brand me as an Italian fan in KLA sport groups and an Italian fan. Because from the first game playing against Italy go win.
All right, so we have another call online. We have Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle, and do the honors.
Good night, Jen.
Good night.
Go ahead, Michelle. Stop focusing on the device that you're watching.
Yes. I'm going to give my analyst.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Rohan.
Okay.
I'm going with Rohan because of the depth of his analysis, that is very knowledgeable. And I also find it to be objective in his analysis. You know, it doesn't come across as emotional. More scientific in his analysis rather than emotional. I want to pick up Kems, of course, with his anti-Chelsea ways.
Yes, and the relationship analogies.
But you know, I still like Kems as well, and I like Cakes as well. And all the others,
Thanks a lot,
Big up
man.
yourself to level
Thanks a
about
lot,
me
man.
and Josh, of course.
Producer, you hear that Michelle say yell you up. But Michelle, in terms of a sporting moment of the year, and I don't want you to tell me about Chelsea winning the Champions League. I don't want to hear that again.
I want to call back tomorrow with that because I wanted an excuse to call back. Call back tomorrow. So I'll call in tomorrow and give my sporting moment of the year.
Okay, no problem. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Okay, all right. Take care.
All right. So, Ron, you're finally off the mark, boss.
Performances of the year, guys. Olympics for me, and there were so many. You mentioned the 400-meter hurdles, and I think one of the callers had mentioned earlier that Hansa Parchment, guys, for Hansa Parchment to win that gold medal, I think we can't speak enough about it because people had written him off because injuries, his ability
You're chipping
to
out. I
hit
will
that
not hear.
his inability
All
to
right,
hit
go
that
ahead.
start regularly because he's always left behind. And you figure that with someone like Holloway, with his flat speed, with his brilliant start, with his awesome form coming into the championships. But we know it's a obstacle event, and we always knew that it wasn't cast in stone because it's not a flat event. But I was pleasantly surprised that Hansen was able to turn back Holloway. And I think also Elaine approaching that mythical 10.49, admittedly in Oregon, which we know for persons in the know in terms of the trajectory of the track, it's slightly downhill. So I was more impressed with her performances when she ran the 10:61 at the Olympics, pointing at the clock. I think she could have gone faster, and the wind it wasn't really a tailwind, so she didn't get much support. So I think we are expecting to see a ding dong because Shelly-Ann has gone on record to say that she feels in the best form of her life and she feels that she can approach 10.4. So let us see. But I think the performances of athletes at the Olympics post Usain Bolt, especially the male and in this case Hansa Parchment. I was disappointed with the athletes in terms of the sprinters, the male sprinters. They have not come to the party. I hope that someone will climb out of the woodworks. I've not seen anybody that jumps out to see that this is the next big prospect because I think Civil has talent, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
if he has what it takes to get to that next level. You understand, guys? When you see an athlete and you say, "Oh, this one looks special," he might not be running super fast, but he has the raw tools. I'm not sure if he can get to that next level because the challenge consistently you have to be running 9.8. And I don't think he has that in him yet. But I'm in for a surprise. So I would take a surprise next year at the World
Tajay
Championships.
Gill is coming, man. Don't worry yourself.
The one who played on Civil now. Civil actually changed him coaching staff thing. Him actually they are Florida now.
He is?
Yes, he is.
They are Florida.
So
Yes.
is he in the same camp that his name?
No,
Is
no,
it is
no,
it Tumbleweed?
no,
Because
no,
I know that's
No,
where most Jamaican sprinters
no,
and
no,
athletes are
no.
going.
no.
That's something they're gone. Akeem
Taylor
gone
and
this
all
one.
those guys. Uh-huh. But if you find the name of the club, you can just bring it up. Let me see. So here is Albert Williams saying that Parchment was one of the biggest upset of the championship. Um, Also, here is Shem Jack saying that yes, Ron, Parchment winning has to be highlighted. Definitely, we can't leave that out because nobody never really expected him to
No one
even medal, much
expected him
less to
to
win it.
medal, but to beat Holloway.
Not even beat away, just to medal.
But but
Nobody saw that medal
but
coming.
but Levan, people were saying that Holloway would not only win, but he would break Aries merits 12.80.
True, true,
Based on
true, true.
how he had looked. Yes, we know it's indoors, but remember that Holloway has the raw speed. He's able to carry the speed over 400 meters. Holloway is basically a freak of nature, so we could not have envisaged
You know what the thing though, Ron? In regards to Holloway should have run probably one or two bad races before the championship. He was due a bad
because
race.
his bad race was in the Olympic finals.
Yes. So he
Because
should
of
have. And
Asafa Asafa
I think
Powell
it's
in his form.
I think it's a case of the moment itself just got to him being that young, and at that point in time where it's like the whole entire world was on his shoulders, that they expect you to break the world record. It's your first Olympics, so it's like everything was on his shoulders at that point in time.
I tell you what, Levon, in 1991, quickly, right? Merlin Otti had not lost a race in almost 3 years. But the thing is, in those days, World Championships, as you know, was every 4 years. First one, Helsinki, 83, then 87 in Rome. So there wasn't any in 89 when Otti was peerless, right? She won in 89, she won in 1990. There was no major championship. She comes to the championships in Tokyo, right? She has beaten Katrin Krabbe, she has beaten Gwen Torrance, all of them. The thing is, people always say that yes, she was beaten by drug cheats. But what I look at the time that they used to beat her, right? And those times, Ati was running those times just coming out of her bed, right? It's not like Katrin Krabbe was running 10:7. I think Katrin Krabbe's winning time was around 10:90 something. And Ati was struggling to hold on to third. So it's a similar case in terms of when you draw parallels with Holloway. He was due a bad race before the championship to feel what it would feel to lose. And it reminded me of Merlin in Tokyo. Yes, she lost races after that, but I think that was when she was at her ultimate. And that is when I think was her most bitter defeats, the 100 and 200 to lose athletes who she had beaten for 2 going 3 years.
All right, so we have a caller online, and I don't know why this caller decided that he was going to cast a vote, but caller, go through.
All right. Good night, everyone. Right. Um, I have to vote for this person, right? I have to vote for this person because um, this individual has been on every single show that we have: NBA, NFL, cricket, football.
See where you're
He has
going.
been there. And at times when I'm not able to make a show, either I'm fall asleep or I'm sick or something, that man filling the whole show. And I believe he's one of the, I know in football and in sports we talk about a glue guy. I think he's a glue guy for sports friends because he can fit in everywhere and he just has to get my vote. So I vote for David. I said David get my vote.
I could have seen you going there from a long way out, and not a bad pick because you're absolutely right. Once you call on Devin, Devin is there. So I can see where you're coming from. Big up yourself, boss. On sporting moment,
Okay.
I think you'll probably go for your wifey.
That's your alien, So, but my biggest, my biggest sporting moment. The biggest sporting moment for me, to be honest with you, would have been the 1, 2, 3. Anytime your country can get a 1, 2, 3 is always a monumental moment, and it's always something that will always be remembered in the history. So that would be for me. And obviously, Billion getting to WWE, what we've done with Billion now. So she's just an athlete to me. No more wife, just an athlete.
I never expected to hear you say that, boss.
Yes, I just big up for the self.
All right, bro. That's your word.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the man who jumped on the podcast for a couple minutes, and he decided that he had to call in. And he called in and voted for Devin. And I absolutely agree with him. Once you call on Devin, whichever sporting area it is, Devin is here. Ryan, tonight is the night that we're actually voting for the sports analyst, well, sports friends and sports analyst of the year. So if you want to call in and leave your thoughts, you can call in and leave your thoughts. If you want to jump on the podcast, you can jump on. Owen Green, we're waiting on your call as well. You're here almost every night, so we're definitely waiting on that. Yes, Albert again saying that no one foresaw that upset. He was expected to walk that race, then came a tail giant and disrupt the apple cart. Here's Michelle now saying that I think Megan Tapper Medline was very unexpected. Ah, yes, it was, but people that were in and around her circle actually expected her to based on the trajectory that she was on. Personally, for me, I thought that Brittany Anderson, based on what she did throughout the rounds and leading up to the Olympics, would have gotten a medal. I love what I saw from her. That 12-4, man, I was just overjoyed by it. But She didn't get a medal. Happy for her still because she's still young. But Megan Top, I'm absolutely buzzing about that medal that she got, man. And even more so, I was buzzing about that interview that she did afterwards, man. You just hear that bubbling personality coming out and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So I love
True.
what I saw. But any other highlight that you guys want to point out? Don't have to be track and field because we're basically in track and field alone just now.
You hear that
But
thing? Oh,
the Milwaukee
All right,
Bucks.
Robbie, go ahead.
me not hear that. Me not hear the question. I say, me say, me not hear the
All
question.
right, Robbie, I'm asking, are there any other sporting moment outside of track and field that you think stood out?
That's the Italy moment.
All
Italy
right,
moment.
all right? You never did you saw it coming, or you thought that they overachieved?
They overachieve. That's what make it. They actually surprised me a bit. Because in a way, they say I was saying there was a dark horse, but as the tournament go on, then Graven strives and get better. With a dark horse. 'Cause remember, people in the Italian league, and most of Italian footballers plays in Italy league. And for them playing a league where them send until they third and actually win, I have to give them props for that. I think the only outside, two outsider in the team, and that is Verratti and Jorginho. Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming from, but if you're actually following this Italian team closely, you won't actually be shocked about them winning because they're on what a 20th match unbeaten
Yeah,
run.
Precisely.
but
Precisely.
no, but
They hadn't lost since 2019.
no, you know why I don't want to play too much, man? Because sometimes I can be paper over cracks. Who they actually play? You can play in front of you, but who
But
they
the thing is,
actually is playing those matches.
thing
So
is,
we can't
Robbie,
really look on that.
thing is to look at Robbie is the fact that over this period, I think the only East 11 was who would lead the line for Italy. He
That's
wasn't sure
always
if it
been
was
the
would
issue.
be Bellotti or it would be Immobile, right? He always had that conundrum. But if you look at the rest of the team, it was settled. That midfield three, the only reason why Locatelli got a look in was because Verratti, we know, is injury prone. But he had
And guess
basically
what? He
settled.
took the opportunity just like this.
He did. But the thing is, they had convinced many persons that even if they didn't win the tournament proper, that they would have given anybody a game because of the chemistry that had been developed. And I think more of the same. And you look at the core of the team. Levon and I follow the league very, very closely. When you look at some of the players who they have that are on the fringes, probably yes, they are capped at international level, but they haven't really set the world alight. But when you look at Scamacca, when you look at Raspadori, when you look at the same Locatelli, right? They in the next 2 or 3 years will be full-fledged members of this Italian team. Yes, we know the
One
back
issue for
line
them
is
though.
aging. Back
That
line
is
is
what I was
aging.
going to touch on. That they
But
don't really have any
but
centre back coming through, except I like Mancini over there in Roma. I like him. I think
but
he's a decent
Bastoni
player that can come through.
Bastoni is good.
And Bastoni, yeah.
Bastoni is good. Remember Italy. They have centre backs. And the thing is, playing with that back three. Even if one has a weakness, the way how they defend as a team and keep the lines close under Mancini, you expect them to be able to defend properly. And they have a goalkeeper who is still only 22, guys. So
That's
when you
just
look at
crazy.
going forward, I think for me, another sporting moment. I'm changing sports quickly. I think the Milwaukee Bucks guys coming back
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
against the
yeah,
Phoenix
yeah, yeah,
Suns
yeah.
because the Suns had looked brilliant running through the West. Yes, because some of the teams in the West had injuries and all of that. But you have to play who is in front of you. And based on how Phoenix had looked, especially in those first two games, and then with the fact that Giannis had suffered at first horrendous looking injury, and then you figure that it was Giannis and Middleton, but the other players really stepped up. So I have to tip my hat to the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis. He really silenced the doubters because people thought that yes, he was a freak during the regular season, but he really showed out in the playoffs, even coming back from such an injury. Because somebody like him who plays downhill needs his explosiveness, and for his knees to be affected in terms of injury, and then for him to put up those numbers, I think it was something to behold. So I think that was another one that stood up for me in terms of the year so far, the Milwaukee Bucks against the odds, because people were not convinced that this year was their year. They somehow turned back the stacked Brooklyn Nets, and then they were able to put it over the Phoenix Suns, who had looked almost unbeatable.
All right, so Robbie, I'm going to touch back on your point in Robbie, because the other day I said it when Brazil was ranked out. I believe it was third, if memory serves me right. I tell people that stop it. I tell people to stop pay attention to.
Me stop pay attention to.
Hold on, man. I tell them to stop pay attention to the world rankings, because it can be skewed. Reason being, if I play, all right, for instance, a Germany just playing Macedonia, Lithuania, and all those things that they beat upon them. You know that they're going to shoot up the rankings.
Yeah.
Now, that is what I'm bringing across, that sometimes we pay too close of attention to these things that we think these teams are that good, while in reality, they are not. It's based on who they're playing against. So, yeah, I don't think that it's like on the world rankings for me.
And that is one of the reasons why Jamaica ranking in the top 50. Was playing at where I play Guyana, Antigua, and them team that were
St. Kitts, St. Lucia,
and tricking ourselves, and they will touch some Gold Cup and realize that we are far behind. We start go for Antonio them Monday. So that was
it. They were at what, 47th, I believe.
45 one time.
I know they're at what, 59th. The last time I saw it.
Yeah, sliding on the rankings.
So here, this comment is made reference to Ron. Here's Albert saying that big point. Totally agree that they were able to win, given that LeBron was not fully fit. Oh boy! But Robbie, you're about to make a point. Go ahead and talk about it.
No, I wouldn't say no. They say it already. They anti-interject about that. When I say people over cracks when they play some little small teams and so forth. All right, remember Brazil though playing aside outside of Europe for a long time. So when people say, yes, I ranked third, I'm saying I'm not watching that. I'm just watching all them actually play against the side.
Sorry, you're satisfied with Brazil right now?
No.
You think they can beat up any opposition?
Yeah, once you start get gel and more fluidity.
No, Robbie. I'm not talking about future tense. I'm talking present tense. Can Brazil
no team are gonna beat me. No team will beat me. Argentina was stubborn with defense are gonna beat me.
So why is it that when Robbie was in the comment section, we're talking about some of these European
No, because I'm sorry, do not size up with man born in Denmark. Denmark cannot beat
Denmark can kick Brazil.
No. You think a boy's done this? What's wrong with you?
Ron, what say you?
Of course, Denmark. All right, listen, Robbie. Brazil would start favorites. No, hold up. Brazil would start favorites, right? But Denmark, when you look at some of the players, and listen, it's not even the individuals, because yes, man for man, Brazil would come out on top. But in terms of how they complement each other, right? And listen, Robbie, since Christian Eriksen went down, it's almost as though the team has been solidified. They are even much better. You have people like Damsgaard now playing at another level. They are so well drilled. When you look in midfield, Delaney complements Højbjerg. They have so many weapons, and the thing is, they score from basically almost everywhere. On the pitch. So the thing is, Brazil would start favorites, and deservedly so. But to go out on a limb and to say that Denmark would not stand a chance, I can't subscribe to that, because Denmark has shown pre-Eriksen and especially post-Eriksen that they have a collection of individuals who play so well as a team. They are well drilled. Because the thing is, guys, in years gone by, in another generation, Denmark used to be called the Brazil of Europe, because such was their flamboyance. People like Elkar and obviously the large brothers. But they had brilliant individuals, but they never had a team that could rival this team. When you look from back to front, look at Schmeichel, solid. Even if these players aren't world-class players, they are solid and they complement each other. When you look at their centre backs, they have Vestergaard, they have Christiansen, they have Kier. We know Kier is injured now, but when you look at the players, Robbie, I think you're doing them a grave disservice by just shunning them because of your allegiance to Brazil, and I don't think that's fair.
All right. So Robbie, I have one question to ask you.
Yeah.
I have a question to ask you. Which fullback Brazil has currently that is better than Joaquim Mahale?
What you say?
Which fullback does Brazil have right now that is better than Joaquim Mahale?
Mahale, who plays for Atalanta.
Okay,
Ah,
Play both.
obviously not because you have
He
to be
can
thinking longer than
play
deep.
both sides, Robbie. He can play both sides. So
and all right. Here the thing happened though is that I'm not really impressed with Brazil win backs, to be honest. I'm not a fan of Daniel. I'm not a fan of Sancho.
One of
And
them are
Royce
box.
wanna play. Royce wanna play for Atletico Madrid. Or maybe
Oh,
lose the
Renan
title.
Lodi.
Yeah, him for play Lodi.
Renan Lodi.
So I'm not a fan of them. And I'm going to tell you say, me not going to tell you say none of them fullback them is good. Me not going to tell you that. I'm not that
Okay,
guy.
so that's one of for Denmark already.
You understand? But remember, Denmark cannot stop me, cannot stop my attack. Sure, remember that. Denmark cannot stop my
What's to
attack.
stop that, brother?
Sure,
Most
remember.
of your hopes is rested on one player, and
One
that's
O.
one
Oh,
Neymar. I know that you love Vinicius, but we haven't seen Vinicius play for Brazil, so we can't talk about Vinicius for
At
Brazil,
that
no, no,
right?
at
Vinicius
that
is out of
level,
this now.
we haven't seen him
Vinicius
at
is
that
out of
level
this.
yet.
Hold on, Robbie. Why are you jumping the gun? Listen, if Brazil really want to make it forward, get rid of the diva. Just
Yeah,
tell
oh.
Neymar, say, just get rid of Neymar totally.
But Levon, the thing is, if we should go through the Brazil options in the attacking areas, most of these are players who have question marks because
Yeah, all of them.
Coutinho isn't at that level anymore.
No, but Coutinho starting.
No, hold up. Vinicius is unproven at international level. Yes, we know he has had his coming out party this season, and he
Antonio,
showed it last season.
Rafinha.
And Anthony still unproven. Rafinha, and they're all brilliantly talented youngsters, but they haven't yet convinced. Firmino seems to have gone off the boil. Gabriel Jesus normally fluffs his lines when the bright lights really come on. Gabigol, brilliant in South America, but still your question mark. So the thing is, Robbie, on paper, Brazil obviously would start huge favorites and deservedly so. But there are question marks over a number of players. When you look at your centre back pairing, Marquinhos is obviously nailed on. Thiago Silva, how long can he continue? So
All a second run. I see Rabbi folded his hands when you mentioned Marquinhos. So here what, Rabbi? Have you actually realized that Marquinhos started to pick up some little niggling injuries here, there, and everywhere right now? You realize
Yeah,
that?
yeah, you realize that. But when he's
Otherwise,
fit,
from that, who you have at centre back?
because Brazil coach
can
bias,
come in. Militao
bias
can
coach,
come in.
Brazil coach. One of the thing why my team not are fluent to do, is because of Brazil coach and him bias. Him come like Whitmore. One thing so Brazil have a bounce of talent, so it won't show. It would show, but we'll get the results. There's no way you're gonna start you're gonna call the Benfica centre back over Gabriel from Arsenal.
Oh, very
That doesn't
similar.
make any sense. That don't make no sense at all.
Lucas Versimio.
Huh?
But Versimy has
I
played
bet
well
it's
this
not better than
season.
Gabriel. Let's be honest about this. It's not better than Gabriel.
It's close. I think Gabriel slightly went off the ball. Very similar. Was defending in a back three and looked quite good. But I think in terms of ceiling, I would say Gabriel has a higher ceiling. But when he signed from Lille, he was good initially, but then he did go off the ball.
He learned off.
He has
Yep.
picked up this season.
Yep.
Especially when you're playing a settled team and the team is playing well, your level is going to improve. So I'll say, Robbie, in support of your point that yes, Gabriel is the better prospect for me. But at the time when he was usurped by Versimio, there couldn't be much qualms because Gabriel wasn't playing well and he had picked up a number of injuries. This season he has looked the player who Arsenal figured that they had signed. So I think going forward he's an option. The fact that he's left-footed, because you always ideally want a left footer alongside a right footer. So but your boy Militao is another good option.
I
When
was
he
about to
signed,
mention him, even though people said
but
that he's not good at centre back.
the thing is, Levon and Robbie, and you will agree when he signed from Porto, big reputation, but he did take a while to get settled. Now he looks like he belongs alongside Alaba, and we are seeing it where they have been almost and ever present. Remember when he came in? Yes, he had persons in front of him. He had Varane, and he had obviously Sergio Ramos, but even sometimes even Nacho was preferred instead of Militao. And you figure that Militao didn't have a future, but thankfully he has been given the opportunity and looks the part. So I think Brazil has options, but for Robbie to just be writing off Denmark, I think that's a stretch too far.
I keep on telling me now, Ron, because I saw him in the comment section one night that anytime, but not even Brazil. He mentioned even Uruguay, that Uruguay can kick up Denmark. I was like,
Uruguay, that age in Uruguayan
I was
team.
like,
That
because
so
in Robbie estimation, all right, listen to the thing, Ron. This is just like Robbie has something against EPL, he has something against Europe.
I know.
No, I don't get anything in Europe. Come on, man. I'm something get in Europe.
You know,
Robbie, all right, hold up. Let's go there one sec. Muslera, even at his
Godin.
prime, wasn't any world beater. Casares still makes Uruguayan squads. Basically don't a Cagliari. You have Godin, not the level that he was at Atletico. Inter wouldn't have just had him for one season. So let's not fool ourselves. When you look at the midfield, yes, you probably can make a case that this is their best part of their squad.
Yes, but they don't utilize it properly. It's just
precisely because you have Betancourt, you have Valverde, you have Torreira, you have Vecino. So
a lot of them.
But when you look further forward, you still have to be dependent on the 34-year-olds who have picked up a series of injuries and are not at the level anymore. Yes, Suarez will give you goals, Cameron will give you goals, but remember, a part of their game that made them so hard to play against.
They should have started the rebuild a long time ago.
But the options who you have looking to come in, Alvarez, who I know Levon rates highly, Agustin Alvarez, Darwin Nunes has gone off the boil. So when you look at the options who Uruguay has to come in, Robbie, I think that's just your bias towards South America talking here. Because when you look at their performance in qualifying, Uruguay had always, under Tavares, showed that they were difficult to play against, right? Now they are getting pummeled right across South America, home and away. And that's why he has been sacked. Remember, El Maestro was the manager in 1990 at the Italy World Cup. So we're talking 30 years, right? Yes, there have been spells when he has not been there. Remember, they rate this man so highly. He had a stroke and he basically has to work with a cane, and he was still managing the team. Just to show you how geriatric this team is, Robbie. So when you sit up there and say that Uruguay would wipe the floor with Denmark, it couldn't be this Uruguay. It must be Uruguay that won the Copa America in 2011.
Uruguay will run the midfield against them. Run them right out of the park.
Robbie, stop it, Robbie. Don't do that. But a player down there that I'm actually impressed by now, and I'm not talking about Brazil or Uruguay, those teams. Is a youth that is now at Leverkusen. I really like him. That is Piero Incapi. For some reason, is when you talk about versatile, he's versatile because he can center back, left back,
can play
midfield. I like him, and he's just 19 years old, and he has done well throughout qualifiers, and since he has gotten started for Leverkusen, he has also taken it with a grasp. Ecuador looks a good side down in South America right now. They're doing their thing, and I really like what I've seen from them.
Especially when the games are played in Quito. Difficult to play against. They make it hard for you. Because remember, Ecuador and Bolivia for many years, guys, were being targeted by persons because they were figuring that the altitude was such that they placed them at an unfair advantage, especially in the case of Bolivia. We have seen where Ecuador they look like the team in about 2006. They had Cordoba, and they had a young, very very young Valencia. That team was a proper team. They have fallen off over the last couple campaigns, but this time around they look nailed on to secure automatic qualifying. And Uruguay, the much touted Uruguay, seems like their best bet may be through the playoffs.
All right. Let's see when World come, we'll see what happens. All right. Make sure my word will come to pass. Make sure. Make sure. I always remember this. It's once Neymar find back that 2014 farm, and at 24 drive for football. It's gonna
But
be
can he
great
do?
job.
But can he do?
Well, and honestly, thing, I'm not sure if he can find it back. But here's the thing about it though. I win Copa America without Neymar. My team is coming like Grizzlies. My team is so much effective without Neymar.
All right, hold on a
So
second
much
before,
You're
effective.
before things
open,
get
Look
you're
have a
going.
opening
ball
a can
bounce.
of worms now when you mention the Grizzlies.
All right, hold on a second before I let you guys continue. We don't have a call online, and it's one of the analysts on our NBA show and our NFL show,
Better
Vinny B.
Ryan.
No man, this is not right. This is Vinny. Go ahead, Mr. Vincent.
We have what analyst for the year. Most Kemar Barnes and Pasti. Yeah, nobody else.
We say love the controversy that he brings, huh?
Yes, that man always have controversy and always have different arguments for different things. But inconsistent. Analyst of the year, man.
So in terms of sporting moment of the year for you, which sporting moment stood out for you?
Sporting moment to this year.
Yeah.
Damn. I can't even say. Which sporting moment to that put on.
You're a big fan of Alien, just like Kim's, you know.
Not big fan of who?
Alien, just like Kim's. Although Kim's saying jump off at Alien bandwagon now. Yeah, man. No, man. Kim's came on here just not too long ago and said that he just see Alien as a regular athlete now. No more wifey or anything like that.
Yes, he did.
No, man, no, that shit. That boy I like jump over and the team them way support and the team them way support. Now in the Aston Villa, in jump Alien shit.
But would you say that she's your standout?
Oh, Alien would be my standout. Yes. She was definitely a standout. And as James would know, because we always discuss this, it's not that Alien is my athlete. Shelley is really the one that I'm adhered to. But I must say that what she has done, her races, how she run them, her time, was definitely the standout for me, and definitely female athlete of the year for me.
Okay.
The sporting moment, even as I mentioned, that probably is that 400. It was the 400 meter hurdle. Oh my God, that probably is the standout.
The male or the female? Which one?
The male.
Okay.
That's why woman. I'll check my name again. That's his name.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that blew me away. That was ridiculous. That was a ridiculous one. Yeah,
Facts.
So even as they mentioned it, that would have been the moment for me.
All right, say no more, boss. Continue supporting Sports Frenzzyy.
Respect.
All right,
Every
family.
time.
I wouldn't vote for
The man that has been getting most of the votes tonight.
Kems. What? Alright, but come here, say still. My team come at the Grizzlies at times. I play better without my superstar.
That's why I said it to you, Robbie. I said that if Brazil wants to make it far, get rid of the diva. Neymar is a diva, so get rid of him. And if you're being really honest right now, his game has tailored off for probably about the past half a season to about a season.
That's why I mentioned. So if you can find by the 2014 love for the game.
That's 7 years ago, Robbie.
Huh?
That's 7 years ago.
Robbie, I was still in high school, Robbie.
Yo, Robbie, man.
Robbie, the thing is, in 2014, right? You remember Levon? Neymar. At the time he's 29 now, so then he was 22. Remember, he was not only a flamboyant dribbler with end product. He was pacey, so he could stretch the fences, he could run beyond. This Neymar doesn't play like that anymore. And that's one of the things why PSG struggles so much. Even before Messi joined, because Messi is the same thing, not able to run at that speed that he could 10 years ago. So you find that Neymar goes to the ball, and Brazil will have to surround him with people who are able to run beyond. If they can complement him, he's still a fabulous passer. He's still a magician with the ball, and we know he scores a bucket full of goals, because for someone who plays like him to have such a consistent end product, whether scoring or assisting or creating opportunities for his teammates, it's something to marvel about. But I think if you're looking for that particular player that he wants was, I think that's a pipe dream. You spoke about his love for the game. I think he made some comments recently. Yes, they were misconstrued by the public because everything he does is magnified. But what struck me, guys, was the fact that I was able to infer from those comments that here's a player who his mind is not necessarily where it used to be, and I just don't see the same player anymore in terms of the level that we all thought that he would have scaled when he just burst onto the scene at Santos, and then when he started to replicate that form at Barcelona. Yes, in Paris he has been almost a goal per game, but injured far too often, and just the way how he plays nowadays, it's infuriating not only for his teammates but also for his most ardent supporters.
All right, so we have a next call online. I believe it's Ryan. So Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, man. That's up a sports frenzy.
Yeah, man, bro. Go ahead.
There's someone supposed to call vote, so give me the categories that I'm supposed to vote for.
All right, so Sports Frenzzyy Analyst of the Year, and you cannot vote for yourself. So who has been?
I'll vote myself.
No, that's out of it.
Who the last?
So
Let
far,
the people.
only 4 people has gotten a vote. So Kems, Shakes, Ron, and Devin.
Come again?
Kems, Shakes, Rohan, and Devin has gotten a vote so far.
Oh, right. Eligible. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they're going to vote for Judd North Star. And I vote for myself. Let's go with 6.
All right, boss. And your sporting moment of the year, and don't tell me about Chelsea Champions League. That's out of it.
Why?
I'm just kidding, man. Go ahead, man.
So you were kidding about me not voting
No,
for myself?
that's totally out of it, man. You cannot vote for yourself.
Okay, I'm Chelsea Champions League. What next?
That's about it, man. Or if you have any other moment that you want to highlight, you can do so as well.
Of course, the million 100-meter world record win.
Olympic record, that is.
Yeah, man. The Olympic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give that more than the world leading time, given the fact that at the Olympics people were still expecting Shelley,
Mm-hmm.
and she basically put pay to that. So her world leading time basically was not unexpected. Frantzzyy Bashman gold medal as well is up there.
Mm-hmm.
What else out there now? Which other sport?
I believe it was Michelle who mentioned it, that Australia winning the World Cup as well would have been a moment of the year for her.
Yeah, definitely Australia winning the World Cup because most of us never had Australia. And tennis with
Raducanu.
Raducanu as the winner for the Open. Was it? Which Open was that again? US Open?
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah, man, that. Euros. This was the best Euros I've ever seen in my life. Since 2000.
For you as an England fan, but not for me as a German.
Overall. I mean, I say England.
Yeah, man, true.
2000 is the best Euro.
True thing, man.
Yeah. And you know, Germany never come out of that group either, right?
This brother for German.
What's my point to you? Yeah, this is the best Euros I've ever seen since 2000. So
2000.
Definitely up there. My favorite matchup, the Euro was England versus Germany.
Oh boy, why have to be Germany again? Can give us a break, boss. Don't worry yourself, man. Next year is right around the corner. We're going to play against each other in the same group, so no worries.
Yeah, you know, maybe at least 3 times next year.
Exactly.
So that means 2 times and then, you know, the World Cup next year.
Yeah, man, we're going to work up final together, man. No worry yourself. All right, bro. Big up yourself.
Yeah, man.
But I'm glad that you touched on that, though. You guys can finish up the point that we're making.
Finish up on what? What I talked before?
Yeah, you guys were talking about it.
All right. I think Tete got in a situation like where Pochettino they get in a Champions League final where you have to play the face the poster boy. Because you don't play Neymar and lose World Cup and get embarrassed. You know, look upon him. Like Odunga, they left out Ronaldinho 2010 World Cup. So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm keeping up with Neymar. And not make Vinicius strive at the left link. I think that's one of the biggest problems. Because if Pochettino they actually don't play Harry Kane, they will have a better chance of beating Liverpool than with him. Because then they did it without him.
Okay. Ron, as I mentioned on the call with Ryan, we're pointing about Australia winning the World Cup. I know that going into the World Cup, a lot of people had Pakistan and also England as the favorites.
And West Indies.
First,
Beamer.
this is the game.
Still, these
But
are outsiders.
so when you look at it and you saw what the Aussies did in the T20 World Cup and New Zealand also going to the final, what you have to say about that? It was a standout moment, definitely, and especially
It
go ahead.
definitely was because, as you mentioned, people were tipping England because of their form in the last few years. Even when they play bilateral series, they look such a well settled unit under Morgan. Even though Morgan he his game has really fallen off. But based on his leadership record, they were still one of the favorites. Pakistan because of their all-round team, especially their bowling attack, and because of the brilliance of Rizwan and Babar, they were favored as well. But I was really impressed at how Australia and some of the unsung players for Australia, people like Matthew Wade, really came to the party. And Australia, the thing about it, guys, is that they always seem to be able to have the measure of New Zealand. And New Zealand, yes, we know they eventually won the World Test Championship. Uh, and I think because they were playing in conditions that were favorable for them, that's why I think they were able to win that. But it was very impressive that Australia was able to cup the 2020 world title.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but all right, as he also pointed out, Raducanu winning. I think that was surprising to some. With I'm currently forgetting the other youngster name that went to the finals, but it was surprising based on the fact that she was a qualifier and all that. So it was very impressive from her. But I believe we have our next caller. Good night. That's all you go ahead.
Good night, panelists. Good night, everyone in the comment section.
Good night.
I'm voting for Kems.
Why?
Kems put a little bit of spice to the show. You know, very controversial and very funny. And you know, especially when he talks about his relationship analogies. Yes.
And in terms of your sporting moment of the year, what would that be?
That would be the 110-meter hurdles because everybody was so hyped up about Grant Holloway, and you know, Hunter Parchment came and did his thing, and the fact that we get 1-3, that was good. So yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Latoya, and keep on supporting Sports Frenzzyy. Enjoy the rest of your night.
No problem. Big up to the host and big up to Josh Kyle.
Okay. So yes, Ron. As I said, Raducanu coming through those stages of qualifying and all that. I think it only ever happened once before, but it was really impressive from the youngster. And people are saying that she give a mixture of what's a Russian name again? I'm currently even forgetting her name. Sharapova.
Sharapova, Maria?
Yeah, she kind of has that little edge of Sharapova in her game. But I personally, as a fan of tennis, love where tennis is heading to. With these youngsters coming through.
That's true.
You know, like
and on both sides, male and female.
Yes. So like before, you know that you just used to have dominance
Before,
and one like just one and two people dominating.
the big four, and then on the female side, it was Serena. Before Serena, it was Kim Clijsters, Justine Arnold. Before them, Steffi Graf. But no, you are not sure who is going to win. And they are so competitive regardless of the surface, whether it's hard court, the green of Wimbledon, or the clay of Paris. So I totally agree with you. On the male side, I like the youngsters coming through. When you look at the fact that Novak, and when you put it in perspective, Levon, when you look at the fact that Novak, Roger, and Rafa, they have 60 Grand Slams amongst them. It is almost unfathomable. And then many of these finals have included those. And when you throw Andy Murray into the mix, it is heartening to see that the new wave, the Medvedev, the Rublev, the Tsitsipas, all of these
Zverev,
guys.
that's my favorite. Because guess what? He's
They got,
German. But the thing that though with these youngsters that they're consistently inconsistent. Like you just have one that may rise up and then come the next slams is out. The one that I'm most disappointed in is Dominic Thiem, because I saw this youth with the potential of
but
beating Rafael Nadal on clay.
on clay, but I think with Thiem, I think he, to be fair though, Levon, and we always look at the variables. He has had injuries, but his game is solid. He has an awesome backhand. I think he probably rivals Wawrinka, another one who has been plagued by injuries. But I think that's the thing that sets those aforementioned players apart from these. The fact that they were consistent, but they were also durable. Because it's just in the last few years you have seen Rafa's body break down. But remember, Rafa was almost like a metronome, right? Roger, yes, he was graceful, but for a period, you can't win 5 US Opens in a row without being, because remember the US Open is the last championship of each year, and and to win so many ATP finals at the end of the year amongst these players to show that they are not only brilliant in terms of talent, but they are durable. So I think that's one issue that I have with these youngsters: the fact that they are inconsistent, yes, but more importantly, they are not as durable as players that they are trying to usurp and to put their names in bright lights.
All right, so as a man that follows the tennis as well, how much years do you give these three at the top remaining in the sports?
Three? Which three? Because I want to hear with three.
The three with the 60 Grand Slams, man. Those three.
Well. Roger is 39, so and he has had serious injuries. He is slated to make a return to the tour in
Sad,
2022.
sad, sad, sad to say, and he's my favorite tennis player. But
He's my
I want,
favorite player,
I
but
want
but
him
I,
to
I
hang up
think
that racket.
I think he's a bit long in the tooth, and I like when players know when they have reached their sell by date. I don't want to see him struggling and exiting Grand Slams in the first or the third round, or you understand, losing to qualifiers. I don't want that for someone who has had a storied career. So I think he is definitely on the win, has been for a few years. Had a little renaissance around 2017, but with the fact that Novak is just so durable and his game is just so solid. Because that's the thing about Novak, is that he doesn't have any weakness. And I think that's my issue with Roger, even though Roger has been my favorite. And he'll be my favorite, regardless of how many Novak ends with. Because remember, there are more variables than just raw numbers, and we know that. But I think I've seen Roger crack under pressure a couple of times, especially on his favorite surface, Wimbledon. I remember when he lost to Rafa. And remember that Rafa was seen as a clay court. And I think Rafa used that as a fillip to propel his career on other surfaces. And he became a totally different player after that epic Wimbledon final. So I think Roger is definitely past his best. And the Murray is also past his best. I'm still able to, in fits and starts, show the player that he wants to, but I think his body has broken down. And it's sad to say, because he's a bit younger than Roger. So I wanted him to almost take the mantle. And his game was also a solid game as well. No real weakness. He was basically a poor man's Djokovic, for want of a better word. But he's definitely on the win. Rafa's body, isn't holding up anymore. I think all those years running on the clay, think it has now taken its toll on him. So I think Novak wins a couple more, but I think even his game is starting to show cracks at 34 going 35. So I think it's the right time for the likes of Sasha and Daniel especially, and then the others, Tsitsipas, um, the volatile Pierre. I think Pierre is controversial. He has such a beautiful game, but he can't. He's almost like curious. So I think there are lots of talented youngsters out there. Theme may come back. He still has age on his side, so it looks good. Going forward. But I think of the four, or let's narrow it down to three. I think obviously Novak would be in the pole position to win the majority of the Grand Slams. That the rest of them will win. And quickly, we didn't mention this, guys. I'm not sure if you mentioned because I came on late. Another moment that stood out was the enthralling back and forth between Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Went right down to the wire, went down to the last lap. And Verstappen, yes, controversial that he won, but the whole back and forth, it was something to behold, and I think it sets us up for an enthralling Formula One season for persons who like motor racing in 2022, because Verstappen is just 24. And I think he will want to lead on a marker. And Hamilton, yes, he has been around for a while, but he's still a fairly young
26
man.
now.
Yes, but he's still young
Driver.
in terms of driving. We know Lewis has been driving for the better part
Sir
of two
Lewis
decades.
Hamilton.
Yes. My apologies, sir. Let's just put that out there, Sir Lewis Hamilton.
But here's Albert with them saying that these guys love the game so much they will not stop abruptly. So they will keep playing until something pops. Murray, a big fan, but agree his body is not there anymore. Time for Roger to call. I agree.
What
Both
was the
these guys
discussion
need to.
about?
No, I will just touch a bit on some tennis, man. But we're going to
Okay.
go away from it. So, Ron, there's another fan of you. Here's Albert saying that Ron, you're creating a fan here. You're sounding like a real pro on all the sports I love. Big, big analyst tag for you. Man, say I put a big analyst tag on you, boss. But we hope that we'll see more of Ron next year as well, because we know that he'll be here until around what, the 26th, you said.
Well, the 25th, I return to work on the 26th. But
So
once
Ron will
I'm
be.
available, I always follow the show. You know Levon. I've never met you in person, but we have spoken like for years. From you were a a, a teenager. And
That's my growth.
I've always said only good things about you. I love your growth. I remember when I used to encourage you to do it, because you had the wherewithal, and I like the way the show is going. Definitely will follow it even when I'm not able to be an active participant. I watch the podcast. I look at the comments. I really support what you guys are doing, and I hope for 2022 that the show will get bigger. And as a matter of fact, I know it will get bigger and better, because
Facts.
I just like where it is going, and we just need more people on board and more sponsorship. And I just think it's just a breath of fresh air to have young people talking about something that they love, and to have and I think going forward, I think you guys can think of making it a bit more interactive with probably have more calling sessions. The
Or
the,
yourself,
the,
man.
the
We actually did it a few times before, so it's something that we have in the pipeline, man.
Yes, sir.
It's just for us to do it more, man, and we're actually going to do it more, because we found out that it gets the viewers on the edge, and personally, I like it, and I know that you, the panelists, love it as well. So it is something that we're going to do, man. But Robbie, this is where we're going to wrap it up. So, are there any topic in your mind that you want to touch on, like a minute?
Yeah, Ruan, why when they have on Facebook I'm criticize Grizzly, defend Dima for athlete. Why?
You see, the thing is,
Even the
um,
home fans tell me saying that he should
we,
sit down.
we,
Listen to my
we
point. Now
mhm.
listen to my point before you answer. My point is that, and I didn't say they don't need him, But
I know
whatever they
what
were
you said.
doing before that, he need to come and adapt to it. Don't change the style to him because it's affecting the team. Because then the people underperform and so forth. If you get the lead one to lead a team, if the team feels them upon you.
Especially in a sport like basketball,
Yeah. So
where
don't put up those stats and say it was good. If you're the lead man, your stats supposed to bring your team over the line. Because you change the way of them play, where them are share points all around, and it was very much effective. They could have beat any team. With
totally
him
agree with
now,
you, Rob. Totally agree with you,
with
Robbie.
him now, they become more vulnerable. And that was the thing I talking about. And people take me like I'm a hate against him. No, he
You're a
needs to adapt to
hater.
when I'm a player.
You're a hater, bro. You
Now,
just
why
got
could I hate him? All right, to me still,
just tell the truth, Robbie. You're a
to
hater.
me, in Kevin lazy shoot of Luca. In Kevin lazy shoes of Luca. Nowhere. So if I got 8, I compare him and did the compare him. I'm just picking out the faults of him.
Robbie,
Because I want to see him do better.
Robbie, I wanted to stop hating on the man. I like both players. I like Luka Doncic because I think he is one of those freak of nature as well. I love
Generational
You
what
believe
talent.
you believe you
And
believe
and,
Morant
and
is a freak of nature?
who
You feel it Morant is a freak of nature?
Morant is a talent that is working
Okay.
on his craft.
Okay.
yeah,
And Luca.
I agree with that. But to say he's a generational talent, I think that's a stretch. But I think Luca, he and I think it's because he spent so many years, guys, playing in Spain with Real Madrid. His game is so polished. Yes, sometimes he becomes a volume shooter, doesn't shoot a high percentage, but his all-round game is such, and he's such a crafty player because he's not the most agile. He's not the greatest jumper, but he contributes in so many areas. But just to backtrack, the Ja Morant, it is similar to in 2007. Arsenal was depending on Thierry Henry. Henry eventually got his move to Barcelona, and Arsenal for the better part of 8 months gave United all they could handle until they imploded and United ran away with the 2008 title. But I say this to say that sometimes when you have players who are the best players, they sometimes and it's not putting flack at the foot of Morant because sometimes the onus is on the players to really pull up because sometimes they like to defer because the superstar is there, they defer. We remember so many times with Brian Lara, we can look at different sporting disciplines where one standout player is there and then others basically I'm gonna say that they down their tools, but they are not playing with the same intensity because they basically figure that this person is here, and sometimes it works both ways, Robbie. So I don't think it's that it's just blaming Ja Morant. I know what the fans say, and I knew that they would have said that. So even if he didn't come out and say it, I knew that some person would say this because that's how persons think. But I think it's basically six of one guys have those the other because I think the players also need to play with the same level when he was out because too many times we see that they differ and they get into their shells. They seem inhibited when they really should be expressing themselves alongside augmenting the superstar that Ja Morant is. Yes, he's not uh, the best player in the world. I think Demo sometimes goes over the top when he rates his players.
That,
We know that,
that,
but
that's Demo. Once you
that's
rate someone,
Demo.
he's going to
That's
go over the
Demo. That's Demo. And I think sometimes he wants to rub it in. So he will make comments, but not taking anything away from Ja, brilliant player. And I think once he continues to develop, I think he's definitely going to be box office. I think he probably will be top five player in the league in a few years because as age on his side. I think I just need his shooting percentage to be a bit more, and I think once he works on that because he does so many other things, he's fundamentally sound. So I think the sky's the limit for him. But Robbie, I agree with you to an extent, but I think you also have to look at the other side that the other players really need to stop deferring so much to their superstar and to pull their own weight even when he is there.
I remember Pollard said something in his first interview and said, play it through like he want Leon Bailey be the go-to man.
Yes.
And I think that is what Grizzly need to change that then. when Moranta play and I'm alone a play. Play
I'll,
like I used to play before.
I'll say in reference to that, Robbie. I hope Paul will really backtrack on that. Don't let Liam Bailey be the focal point of your team because if Craig Butler say, here, what I don't want the man play, what are you not going to do? You have to go find another
Exactly.
team. So
So that is
build
what
the
Precisely.
happened
team.
to Grizzly.
It's
Build
fraught
that
with
team.
danger.
Build that team instead of a one-man
Yes.
machine.
That is my point.
That's true.
That me I try to say like that. And people say it's 18. It's not 18, it's the Fox I'm talking. And the
But
Fox.
here's Jacob. I'm saying that all the guys complement each other. Well, good show. Keep it up. All the best for 2022 and beyond. I definitely agree. And we just hope for the best with Sports Frenzy. Any final thoughts from you, Ron?
Nothing sport related. Just an extension. Oh, that was my old man. Back home in Jamaica, bigging up the show. But just an extension of what he said and what others have said. Just to basically empower you and Josh for the show. Sheiks, Robbie, all the persons, Bones who has gone missing. We need to send out a missing
One
report.
said that he'll be back soon. Big
I
and better.
saw I saw the comment and I was pleased to see it because I really was going to have to inbox him to find out why he has been basically missing in action. But it's good to know
Arsenal
that
was losing.
well, but Arsenal has been awful for years and Bones has been so vocal. So I don't think that was necessarily, but just basically to empower you guys and to hope that the Christmas is prosperous and we hope that the show grows from strength to strength and become box office by next year this time.
Say no more.
All right. I'm going to ask for the support. Please, January, send catching Division 1 Westport. Please, not big for the support. Not big for the support. Funds are necessary. I hope the government shut the place.
Robbie, here the deal. I'm going to give you a deal sweetener, all right? So here what? You see, if you can give us 50 subscribers, I get at least 15 people on Sports Frenzy to come and watch a team.
No problem. No problem.
All
No
right.
problem.
All right, say no more. Big up to everybody that made the show possible. Thanks to all the callers who called in and place the vote for the callers for the analyst tonight. So far, Kims is out front on 5, Shakes is on 3, Ron is on 1, Devin is on 1. Remember, voting continues tomorrow. I want more calls to come in. So, guys, encourage whosoever you need to encourage to call in and tell us who is their analyst of the year and their sporting moment. And thanks to our producer Josh Paul makes this possible. Thanks to Kim who was here earlier. Thanks to Rowan who is still here. Thanks to Robbie who is still here right now. And you guys in the comment section, big up on yourself. To all those who comment, to all those who don't comment, because I know there's a lot of people that watch the show, but they just don't comment because some say that they're shy. And I don't know why. But I encourage you guys to comment more on the topics, man. But until tomorrow, stay safe, guys. Have a blessed night.